We are live. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I am one half of your host, Blake Ruffino. The other, Joe Bruno DeLeone.
I keep forgetting that I told you that was my middle name. I keep
long
forgetting
as-
that.
Hey, listen, I'm trying to intimidate you. I'm trying to intimidate you because let me tell you why.
Here we
We
go
got a
already.
massive debate on our hands.
Yes.
Like, listen, we're going to have to clip to this morning's show in like 3 or 4 parts because in the words of Kevin Hart, it's going down this morning. Me and you are debating for the biggest debate of all year. It's not an election debate. It's nothing. This is the biggest debate we have. It will happen this morning. Agreed?
I agree, and we might not even get to our guests. We might end up spending the whole hour just talking about what we're referring to, which is, I mean, everyone else is talking about it. It's not just us, and it's good that we agree to disagree in some ways on this matter.
Well, here's the thing. Number one, you're right, but but here's the thing. We never go an hour. This show's supposed to be an hour. We never go an hour. It's like, so let's get that. Number two, probably the biggest question too. Why do you hate LSU?
I've been over this a million times. They don't hate LSU, but somebody has to be real.
Question number three, why do you hate Brian Kelly?
Well, we know why I hate Brian Kelly. I hated Brian Kelly when he was at Notre Dame. Of course, I'm going to hate him now that he's at LSU.
Number four, is your first cousin a part of Irish Breakdown?
No, incorrect.
Okay. Well, just letting it be known, the SEC West champs do what the hell they want, DeLeone.
Okay, but they shouldn't be ranked in the top 5. They can do whatever they want. They're more than welcome to, but they shouldn't be ranked in the top 5. I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves, but that's the whole argument.
Okay. Well, we'll get to it in just a very quick moment. You're going to lose. Anywho, we do have a good show in store for you this morning. We will get to that intro. We will debate, should LSU be ranked ahead of TCU and USC? Joe and I will argue that. One part I do kind of somewhat agree with Joe, I will admit, but the other part I think he's losing his absolute mind. But also we will have former Tennessee quarterback Matt Sims, host of the First Team College Football Recruiting Show. He will be joining us at 9:30. At 9:45, my good buddy Mike Yuva from South Carolina and up there in Boston, Smart Park, will be joining us at 9:45. Cockvember. I don't like saying that.
I can't wait to ask him about that, Blake. I'm actually so excited to ask him about that. I don't know about you. I know it sounds like you're not.
I just like, I don't know. Cockvember. Cocktober is better sounding than Cockvember. Now you're just trying to keep going on.
They clearly aren't maintaining the momentum the way that they've played over the last few weeks. So apparently it's not a real thing, which I would love to ask Mike's thoughts on that and if he believes that Cockvember could be a thing or should be a thing.
Listen, the only cocks that are being roasted today are those that are going to go up against Tennessee. Okay, now y'all need to clip that. But I mean, come on. But I do think that game's going to be a little bit closer than some experts think. And another close game, I got a stat for you that I think is really interesting between Georgia and Kentucky. My buddy Carter Bryant over the Power Hour, SEC Power Hour, LSU Power Hour. A very interesting stat, Joe. Could this Georgia-Kentucky game be a little closer than some experts think? We'll talk about that as well. And at 10 a.m., Jenna Drinks joins us. Joe, I don't know if you saw this, but I do have a 3-year-old son, Ben.
Yes.
He dapped me up with some cheers this week. Cheers! And then everybody's like, look what Jenna did. But Jenna didn't have, Jenna's got no,
no influence.
This is my problem.
Does Ben even know who Jenna is?
Yeah, he watches the show. Yeah, I mean, he's probably watching the show on his iPad. He really does love the show. So what happens is when he hears Daddy getting mad during the week, during the LSU show, that's when he runs in here and goes, Daddy, calm down.
He comes on the show to
Oh, yeah, he'll tell me to calm down. During the break.
Like your producer.
Yeah, he's like my Weinberger. See, Pooh's like the show producer, but the thing about that is he's the one that's like my Weinberger. He comes in there, he's like, calm down.
He's your executive producer. That's what Ben is.
True.
Does a great job.
Pooh Bear says, pause. talking about Cockvember. I agree with him. It's just so I can't say it what I want to say, but it's like
there's nothing holding you back. You can say it. We're all friends here.
I don't think that you should be using the word cock in anything that you do.
Well, they're the Gamecocks. Like they set themselves up for the bit.
You
got to lean into it though. That's my whole thing is that if you're going to call yourself the Cocks,
you got to lean into the cock is what you're saying.
Because it's the worst. It might be the worst mascot in Division I FBS football. I get it, and I'm sure that back in the early 1900s, it was a ferocious beast, whatever a gamecock.
Gamecock has never been a ferocious beast, Joseph.
Maybe back then for them, and I would love to know the history behind that decision making to name them the Gamecocks. But again, can you come up with and I'd love to see if the chat can come up with one. Who has a worse mascot?
Blue Hens.
But you can't take the word blue hen and then run with everyone. You can make any joke with the word cock in it when you're playing South Carolina.
That's true. That's true. You're right. I mean, it's
unintimidating and it's silly. That's what's wrong with it.
All right. Fifth and final question before we get rolling here.
Mm-hmm.
Are you in the Christmas spirit over here with that cup? I mean,
yeah, so there's no Dunkin' Donuts in Los Angeles, really. There's few and far between. So I got the holiday
Donuts cup. That's a Dunkin' Donuts cup.
Yeah, it's a Dunkin' cup. I was in the holiday spirit and I got the holiday blend, and I got to say, this is fantastic coffee. The coffee in Los Angeles is terrible. I'm sick of it, and there's a couple things I miss about the East Coast since coming back to New Jersey for this weekend, to the land of my people. And I will say that Dunkin' is definitely one of them.
What part of Jersey are you in? Are you close to Tony Soprano and all them, or what?
Yes, that's actually a town over from where that was shot and where that was based. We used to play all those towns in football: Caldwell, Nutley, Verona, very Italian population. Ironically, me as an Italian, I did not grow up in one of those Italian towns. I grew up in one of the more predominantly Jewish communities. But yes, that is all. This is Soprano country that I'm in right now.
Okay. Watch out. You're going to get whacked. All right, everybody do us a favor.
Pause.
Pause. Everybody do us a favor by hitting the like. No, I'm not going to tell an Italian pause. I'm not going to tell you mob member pause. Blue Bear can do it, but I just look. Don't be telling no mob members. Just calm down. Calm down. Let this one slide. I promise you. All right, everybody do us a favor by hitting the like and share. Share to all those Facebook groups. So many of you listening to us are watching us right now on Facebook. Stop, collaborate, and listen. Look, you guys have been killing it for us on this Saturday morning show on Facebook. Joseph, we've hit over 150,000 total views.
Ooh.
So I'm really excited that we've gotten all of that.
Wait, just on this show?
Yeah, just on the Saturday show. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Wow. That's fantastic.
Yep. Well, when you average about 5 to 10, and you're around, I think the last week we got about 13,000 total, something like that. So, I mean, we're killing it, bro. Congratulations. We did have one big request.
What was the request?
They told me to shun you for your bad take about Brian Kelly, but that's the only bad thing that's happened.
I'd ask which bad take, but we would spend hours trying to figure out which take it was.
150,000 total, man. We're only this is the 13th episode, so I mean it's about right. It's
That's
about
huge.
right. Yeah. All right. So everybody, do us a favor. If you're on YouTube, if you're on Hack City, Bleav, AYS Sports, hit the like and share. Share to all of those, all of your Twitter pages. Thank God Elon Musk saved the day. Twitter's still alive, so go over there and Twitter, share that. Share it to Facebook and everywhere else. If you listen on TuneIn app or wherever you listen to podcasts, rate, review, subscribe as well. We greatly appreciate y'all doing that. All right, let's get into this. We'll do our first break at 9:30. I think we've been having a lot of success doing that. Let's do this. You want to have the massive debate. So look, as Pooh Bear said this morning, it's Cupcake November or Cupcake Week. So let's go here then. All right, a lot of people are freaking out about the college football playoff ranking. I'll give you the floor. LSU is ranked 6, and this is not me. You wanted to talk about this. I'm I was not.
We got to talk about what's hot. I mean, I'd love to talk about UAB and how talented they are, but we got to talk about what's hot. It's sparking a debate. We're so close.
They're 5-5, and you're saying they're hot. They were on a 3-game losing streak before they beat North Texas last week.
They're
hot.
No. Sorry, I'm saying that this topic is hot.
Oh,
because
okay.
there's no games going on.
The only thing hot in Birmingham is Pooh Bear. Ask Lucy. Pause. I mean, we have a commenter, Lucy, who says he's really hot. So I'm just saying. So listen. Okay, let's get to this debate.
Yeah.
So the top 6 or 7. So we can go top 7. Obviously, you know them by now. Georgia. What was it? Ohio State and Michigan. TCU, Tennessee, LSU, USC. What's your problem with these rankings?
My initial issue with this, and there's 2 parts to this, because I have a problem with LSU's location where they're currently placed, and then I also have problems with the arguments that some people are making that LSU should be higher than where they're currently placed.
Oh, you're
going LSU's a talented team. They are really, really good defensively. Matt House has made that defense into one of the best in the country. Harold Perkins is fantastic. There's inconsistencies for them offensively, in my opinion. And I'm sure that you could agree that they are not the most consistent offensive team. Separate from that, 2 losses for me is not good enough to be placed in the top 4, to be ahead of USC, to be ahead of TCU. I understand that they're a talented team, and I think on a neutral field, there is a likelihood that they beat USC, they beat TCU. I don't think it's by as significant as a margin as most SEC fans would claim. I think everyone assumes, a lot of SEC fans assume, that it would be a blowout. Both of those games would be blowouts, and I don't believe that to be the case. But my main issue is the resume. I understand that I am always a supporter and an advocate for the eye test. There's a lot of times too many people that support resume over eye test, but in this circumstance, because LSU has 2 losses, they are properly placed where they should be, which is behind TCU, behind Tennessee, and behind USC. If USC loses, move them back. If USC wins their conference, they shouldn't be knocked back for a team that's likely not going to win theirs. If LSU wins the SEC, I will completely change my tune, but it is based on, again, the resume, what they've done so far. 2 losses is too many for me to put them up any higher.
Number one, why are you harping on all of the losses and not the wins? Because here's my – hold on, let me get to USC.
Okay.
Let me first start off with USC. Bron, don't fire me. Okay, let me start with USC here. They lost to Utah. Utah came down to Gainesville in Florida week 1 and got beat, right? But nobody seems to find the problem with Utah getting their cheeks clapped week 1 against Florida. Now, I hate the argument, oh, Blake, it was hot and humid. Their titty nipples were sweating. LSU played in a snow game last week and won. So all of your arguments on that are invalid. The best team that USC has played, they lost. The best team USC has played, they lost. Don't come up in here and tell me that USC could go on a 4-game run of beating Auburn, Ole Miss, Alabama, Arkansas. At best, they'd be 2-2. At best.
No, come on. Wait. We're over
Auburn. They would beat Auburn. They would beat Arkansas. They're not beating Ole Miss and Alabama. You know that, and I know that.
I think that they could beat Ole Miss. I think that not the way that LSU did it, but I think that they could. They have a very explosive offense, and I will sit here and say that I have questioned USC's defense. It has a lot of issues. It's terrible. They have gotten burned by some bad teams, and Utah is not exactly the most explosive offense in the country, and they gave up a ton of points and got gashed by Dalton Kincaid, who's their starting tight end of all people, who was injured also for most of that game. But they have the offense. They have a far more talented and explosive and well-coached offense than Ole Miss is. I don't think that you could line both those teams up. And Ole Miss is not winning in a shootout against USC. They have a Blitnikoff winner. Look at all the 5 stars at receiver.
Shootout against the SEC team. They can barely do things against Oregon State and Utah. You really believe that Utah's the
Utah game? They put up 50 or 45 points or whatever it was. But Oregon State was early on in the season, and Jordan Addison went down with an injury in that game.
Then what's your excuse? Then why can't you give the same thing for first game under Brian Kelly with LSU? My point exactly.
Okay,
so you're giving USC the pass, but first game Brian Kelly, you're not giving the pass to.
I'm not giving it to him. Like I didn't say that
that they lost by 1-2 in week 1, okay, in a neutral site environment. So, right. I mean, come on now. And everybody the argument is, well, Alabama's down. A down Alabama wins every other outside the Big Ten. A down Alabama would clean the clocks of every Power 5 conference in the country. They would win the Pac-12. They would win the Big 12. They'd win the
Big 12. They'd win the Big 12. They'd obviously
win the Pac-12. Stop it. Stop. Brother, come on now. You're getting a little.
The problem is, I wish USC had like a slightly better defense because my argument would be a little bit easier. But
how's that Cal game going? Oh, that's right. They can barely take down Cal.
Okay. Obviously, the way that they played against Cal in some of these games isn't great. But I'm saying neutral site, match up these teams, big game. They have the offense and the offensive firepower to outscore any team.
Joe. If Travis Dye's down,
he is down. He's
fucked.
Done.
I didn't hit the mute button, but they're screwed.
Their offensive production wasn't coming from Travis Dye. It's from everything that Caleb Williams is doing. I think that
their two closest games, one they lost, the other was Oregon State, was their worst rushing game performances of the season. They almost got beat. Don't tell me Travis Dye doesn't mean anything.
I'm not saying he doesn't mean anything, but their success isn't only going to come from having him. They have so many offensive weapons and so many receivers that they don't need to rely on the run game. I have to ask you
today if UCLA beats USC.
Oh, then my argument's invalid. I'm not even
okay. Get ready because UCLA yards per carry is the number 1 team in the country against that defense.
But I really don't believe that UCLA is winning that game.
Okay,
I really don't believe.
Here comes the. Here's another thing too that nobody's talking about.
Mm-hmm.
When's Lincoln Riley going to win a big game?
At USC? Oh,
in general.
Right.
Name the big games that he's won. Because I'll wait.
I mean, it's a good point. But the one thing I will say is that this USC team does feel like one that shows up against weaker opponents and looks past them. So, like, I don't necessarily want
their competition's what you're saying?
Right. And I think it's difficult to really truly project how good they could be because they have a tendency to play down to their poor level of competition. I don't know. My argument is that I think if they showed up to play against an SEC opponent, that they would play at a completely different level. They have the talent. It's not like we're sitting here. I think TCU is a different argument because they don't have that 5-star talent. They don't have those 5-star players, the receivers, a Biletnikoff winner, one of the best quarterbacks in college football, and Caleb Williams. Here's the one thing I'm afraid to ask you. Who do you think is better, Jaden Daniels or Caleb Williams? Come on now.
Caleb Williams does not, and I've said this before, Caleb Williams does not impress me all the time. He doesn't.
Well,
okay.
This season he doesn't have.
Are you saying? See, here's my problem, Joe. Whose ceiling's bigger? Caleb. Okay.
Yeah, he's also younger.
He's also younger, so I think his ceiling's bigger than Jaden. Jaden Daniels is playing better football than him right now. In the SEC.
But is it really like significantly that much better? Like,
well,
I don't know.
If Caleb Williams is supposed to be this 5-star ultra talented dude, then I've got my case. Because again, you cannot tell me that like everybody that's not in the SEC says, "Oh, there's SEC bias." Where there's more SEC players that go into the NFL draft than any other conference in the country. You know that because you do the podcast. It's the best conference in the country.
Right.
Jaden Daniels is running away from 5-star dudes at Bama. He's running away against 5-star dudes and Drew Sanders.
But so that's my argument of why I think Caleb Williams is the better quarterback right
He
now.
might
Like
be the overall
specifically,
better quarterback. I'm not going to disagree with you there.
I think Jaden, he's a fantastic athlete. And again, I've said this a million times on the show. He is the perfect quarterback for Brian Kelly in the offense in the type of scheme that he runs. Like he was what I think Brandon Wimbush was supposed to be. And Wimbush was undersized and just, didn't Malik Zaire. Like it's what those guys were supposed to be. And Jaden Daniels is playing up to that level that they need him to, but he's more athlete than quarterback right now. Like I think Caleb has a bad offensive line in front of him, and he is one of the least pressured in sack quarterbacks right now because he is able to move in the pocket, extend plays, evade pressure really, really well. And I think doing that and connecting with his receivers the way that he does, like I think that if it came down to a close game, if USC was able to keep it close with any of these SEC teams, he's somebody that I trust to go down and score on a winning drive. He absolutely is.
Name a big win that he has.
Well, they haven't played anyone. They've had an insanely.
Thank you.
But,
so they haven't played anybody.
I don't disagree that they haven't played anybody, but my point is that they have the talent to compete. They have the talent to compete. They've got
talent to compete. Their front seven is cheeks, dude. Joe, their front seven got pushed around by Cal. Don't you dare tell me that they can come in the SEC and not get pushed around. Stop. Joe, they got pushed around.
Okay, but let me ask you this: how many teams have the secondary to cover those receivers in the SEC?
You mean
the top four, maybe?
You mean to tell me that you think LSU, who's known as DBU, doesn't have the DBs? You know what USC doesn't have? Mic drop. You ready? Harold Perkins. They ain't got Harold Perkins, brother.
That's a fair point.
There's 45 Harold Perkins, not 45. There's probably 5 Harold Perkinses. You're going to see a Harold Perkins type talent every week. Everybody can make fun of Drew Sanders at Arkansas last week. He leads the conference in sacks. Mm-hmm. He leads the conference in tackles. Brother, this is a week in, week out basis. They haven't seen – name one defensive player – Emmanuel Forbes as an example. Emmanuel Forbes at Mississippi State. He's the best DB in the country. Right. Here's Emmanuel Forbes' stats. You ready for this? 17 in solo coverage, in single man-to-man coverage. 17 targets, 1 catch allowed, 4 interceptions. That's Mississippi State.
How did you pull that up so quickly, by the way?
Well, first off, Pooh Bear, can you pull this up? It's in the AYS chat room.
Oh.
The AYS DM group. Brother, don't ask me about Daddy's stats. Daddy's got stats out his ass. Okay?
Okay.
Right.
But they have mid-tier
SEC team has the best DB in the country.
He's not the best DB in the country. Clark Phillips at Utah is a better defensive back than he is. Clark Phillips.
And where are the results?
I forget what I don't have stats to pull off the top of my head, but he's got one of the highest interception totals in the country.
Emmanuel Forbes has had 2 Derek Stingley type seasons in the SEC. 2.
What year is he?
He's a junior. I'm telling you, he's the best DB in this class. Brother, he could get to 20.
He's not. I've evaluated this class. There's a number of guys that I have ahead of him.
Hey, how much you want to bet? Last time we betted, we didn't do the bet, but I'll make this bet. Emmanuel, brother,
yes, you're right.
Sweet baby Jesus, pull these stats up, baby. Brother, he's had 2 Derek Stingley type of seasons.
Okay. Right. Wait. But again, I have evaluated this class. Clark Phillips, Keely Ringo, Joey.
He's better than Ringo. He's not.
Talent-wise, ceiling-wise.
Yes. You know what? He's given up more. Ringo gave up more catches against TCU than Emmanuel Forbes has given up his entire 3 years.
Wait, TCU? Do you mean?
I mean Tennessee. Ringo. Let me say this again. Ringo gave up more catches against Tennessee than what Emmanuel Forbes has given up in his entire career at Mississippi State.
Separate from Ringo, Clark Phillips is the better defensive back. Actualized talent, he is going to be the first corner.
More catches on him this season than what I don't even know a good way to compare this. Brother, they can't throw at him.
But again, he's great. Like he's a great player, but Clark Phillips is a more talented defensive back. So
all right,
Caleb is facing these guys.
We're gonna keep this argument. I gotta show you this right quick. Hold on. Here we go. this right here. Look at this. Emmanuel Forbes in single coverage this season, 17 targets, 1 catch allowed, 4 interceptions, 0.0 passer rating allowed.
Those are great stats. Those are great stats, but like I see performances like that from Clark Phillips too.
Not in the SEC, you don't.
He can match. Wait. Clark Phillips can match up with any
in the pack. Who's the best wide receiver in the pack?
Jordan Addison, Mario Williams. That's just on one team.
Wait, Addison got hurt against Utah. What are you talking about?
No, but he did get hurt. But my point is that you're saying who's the best receiver in the Pac-12? They've got receivers in the Pac-12.
And he didn't play against him.
That's beside the point, but you're saying that there's no good receivers.
This guy's had 2 Derek Stingley type seasons, and you're saying he's not the best DB. Was Derek Stingley the best DB in last year's class?
He was up there.
Okay,
Sauce was the better defensive back, and he's playing as the better defensive back in the NFL. We're not going to agree on this. We're not going to agree on this.
He's got 13 interceptions in 3 years.
Pull up how many interceptions Clark Phillips has. I would love to. You know what? I'm going to pull it up on my phone. But
okay,
actually,
I'm really nervous about this one. Matt Sims going to be like, this guy from Louisiana is a dumbass. He yells,
No,
right,
Matt's great. I'm sure he's excited to talk to us.
Well, we do got 1 minute. How do we want to get to this TCU? Do you want to go 1 minute, really quick shot? I'll give you the TCU one.
Yeah, I mean, this is again more resume based, but I think that everybody.
Look at here! It's poor little Phillips.
That doesn't sound right. Over 3 years, he only has 8 interceptions. I thought he has more than that.
Nope. Sorry, lost.
All right, I'll consider
very quickly.
I'm not going
to go.
Okay. All right. All I had to say about TCU is I think everybody assumes that they have played a more difficult schedule than people are willing to give them credit for. They have played. Okay. Thanks for just completely, putting me up on the board.
4 interceptions. Get out of here.
No. That's not right. That's not right. Where did the 8 come from? No, I don't. No. I need to look this up after the show because I could have sworn that he's had 8 interceptions, more than that.
Oh, Pooh Bear played you.
Wow, talk about some bias over here.
Okay. He got Pooh Bear got you, dog. He got you.
Before we get to Matt, my point with TCU is that I think that they've played a more difficult schedule than people are willing to admit. Kansas State, I Bleav that Texas is better than people are willing to give them credit
Kansas
for.
State lost to Tulane.
Actually, my Tulane argument goes away because they lost to UCF.
Yeah.
But they have multiple ranked wins on their schedule and their resume. And look, the way that they played against Texas, and Texas kept Alabama really freaking close without Quinn Ewers. I understand that they have not played up to the expectations that I think that we had for them at the beginning of the season. But that is a really good Texas team that they completely shut out. They took Bijan, who's the best running back in the country, out of the game. That takes some really good defensive fortitude to do that. Like, I just think that everyone assumes like, oh, it's TCU. They never actually actualize the talent and the expectations that they have. But this is a different team. They've got a lot of really good athletes. They are one of the most explosive offenses in the country in terms of yards per reception, yards per completion. Like they've got the dudes and they got the ability to score really quickly. I know that they didn't look great against Texas, but I don't see a reason why that they can't compete with one of the top 4 teams. They're not going to win, but they can at least compete. They're not getting smoked like everyone assumes.
I'm not. Mm-mm.
We yelled enough.
Yeah, we yelled enough. And Ben's outside saying, Daddy, calm down. My 3-year-old son's words just now were, Daddy, stop absolutely roasting Uncle Joe. That's exactly what he just said.
I'm Uncle Joe? That makes me feel good.
So you didn't hear that you got absolutely roasted. But yes, you are Uncle Joe. And then you got the Pooh Bear, our producer. The Pooh Bear. It's not Pooh Bear. It's the Pooh Bear.
Pooh Bear.
All right. Let's get to our first break. Joe, that was a good one. Great debate. We're gonna get back.
I definitely didn't win. I'm not gonna pretend. I usually win most debates, but I was fighting for my life. I'm gonna sit here and admit that I was.
All right. Well, Pooh Bear and them at the Golden Boot Pot, who is also part of our Bleav Brotherhood, they have a shirt that says "Loud and Wrong." Well, Big Daddy was just loud and right. So I'm just gonna say that. All right,
okay.
I'm Joe. All right, let's get to our good friends over at betonline.ag. Guys, a big weekend. Go over and bet at our good friends over at betonline.ag. Use that promo code Bleav50 at checkout and get a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Again, betonline.ag. It's betonline.ag. All right, first break. We got former Tennessee quarterback Matt Sims joining us next. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way for you to wager on all of your favorite sports, contests, events with the first-to-market odds and lines. Find reviews for all the news for each league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, college sports, esports, and even golf. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all of your sports information for live in-game betting, props, and futures. Head on over to BetOnline today and use your mobile device to join and make your first sports bet. Use our promo code Bleav50, that's Bleav50, BLEAV 50, to receive your 50% off welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's betonline.ag, betonline.ag. All right, we are joined by former Tennessee quarterback and our good buddy, Matthew Sims. Matt, what's going on, man?
What's up, man? How are you?
I don't know if you heard the debate.
I saw that.
I caught the back end of it, and listen, I don't want any of that smoke. You know, no pun intended there. But man, that was something. And Joe, like, let's go, man. You know, if you believe in it, you got to defend yourself a little bit better than that.
Well, Matt,
I was fighting for my life, as you can tell.
Matt, let me just go ahead and say this. It's not the first way I wanted to present myself to a former Tennessee quarterback in the SEC, but nevertheless, I apologize for my actions. For absolutely nothing. I mean, Joe deserved what he got. I'm just letting you know. Anyway,
no doubt. And listen, you never have to, defend yourself that way. It's all good, man. Like, hey, you just stick true to what you believe in, and that's what's gonna be the main thing at the end of the day. So it was enjoyable to watch for sure.
Glad you got a kick out of it.
Oh, I did. Absolutely.
Speaking of teams,
I got to match this energy too, man. Let's go.
Speaking of teams, though, that are in the top five, obviously Tennessee is.
Yeah.
Just give us a rundown. Look, I think this is just my personal opinion. Are they going to beat South Carolina? Absolutely. But later in the season, we've seen historically that these games in the SEC are get a little bit closer. I guess, what are your thoughts about today going up against South Carolina and Tennessee, if you have any?
Well, I mean, I think just like the big part of it really is just that Tennessee is that team that they know that they control their own destiny in this situation, right? So I think that's an extremely powerful message that you can get through to the team of just saying, man, if we control what we can control each and every time that we step on that football field, that gives you a tremendous advantage going into the season. Now, hey, at the other end of the ball, South Carolina is saying the exact opposite. Hey, we can ruin these dudes' season if we go out there and just put on a show, and anybody can do it just that 1 week. So I think it's going to be just a grudge match. Tennessee, South Carolina is always a fun game. It's always a fun atmosphere. And this one will be interesting, but, definitely have to give the edge, obviously, to Tennessee and just the way that they really kind of responded after that tough loss in Georgia.
And Matt, I don't mean to immediately redirect this off of Tennessee too quickly, but I
did think that was the only reason why I was on this damn show. But all right, go ahead, Joe. It's cool though.
as I did texted you during the week, though, I really wanted to talk about Lane Kiffin because this Tennessee matchup they're gonna smoke South Carolina. But
all right,
you had the privilege of being recruited by Lane Kiffin. And
yes, sir.
When Lane Kiffin ended up leaving, he goes to USC. And I just want your thoughts of knowing him. There's a lot of...
Well, I clearly didn't know him that well because he left when I was only there for about 5 days. So, and I think 3 of those days he spent at USC, doing that whole spiel with them. So say that I know him, that's...
Right.
What
was
the
whole timeline again? So, like, he recruited you, you showed up, and you were really attracted to playing under him, and then he disappeared.
No doubt. I mean, at the time, I was playing junior college football out in El Camino in Torrance, California. And JUCO football was amazing. It was a great experience. I mean, it's just like old school renegade football. You have no idea what the hell is going on each and every week. But then, went on a trip to Tennessee, saw the practice, saw the atmosphere. met with Lane, the whole team, and just was like, man, like, this is it. I got to get into the SEC. I got to play for this dude. We're going to take over the SEC East with this guy at the helm. And, committed really quickly in the process. Like, as soon as I went there, I saw the stadium, saw the coach, met all of them, got the whole vibe. I was like, yeah, let's go. Sign me up, and this was before all the NIL stuff too. So I can only imagine what that had been like nowadays. But, the greatest thing about it really is just that Tennessee has a lot of selling points too. At that point, and especially for a guy who was playing in junior college football with only like 50 people in the stands, to think you were going to be playing against 110,000 people and every weekend, was very attractive to me. And of course, playing against a lot of future NFL football players. The situation though was weird because I was there for about a week. That was the time where a lot of people were saying no to the USC job. And each and every time that somebody said no, I got a little bit more and more nervous with potentially Lane's name coming up. And I'll never forget the day where I was in that facility that day. I got a text message, a mass text message that said, be in the team meeting room at 7 p.m. And as soon as I got the text message, I said, oh, man, like, this is not good. Like, something happened. And sure enough, I kept watching film because I was trying to just, get acclimated with the offense and all that kind of stuff and get ready for spring football. I got this weird smell of smoke in the building and was like,
this is the craziest part about all
what is going on right now? I was very confused. I walk outside the hall thinking, like, is there a fire? Keep walking down the hall, go to the front, and there's about 1,000, 1,500 students and fans outside the football facility. Mattresses were burning. There were some signs that said, certain things to Lane directly or indirectly on there. And it was just, it was unbelievable. And then the exit meeting was like an all-time experience with Lane walking in with like his pea coat on. And man, it was awkward as hell.
Can you share what he said?
So the energy in the room, obviously by that time, everybody knew what was going on. ESPN had already announced it. Everyone knew that he was going to USC. So the energy in the room was just a lot of people, just talking loudly, angrily at the situation, trying to get clarification on exactly how this took place, especially too, because everyone was just selling the dream of this new Tennessee under Lane, especially with me in this recruiting process. And man, when he walked in, the room got like a little quiet, like awkwardly quiet. And Condridge Holloway tried to manage the situation. The great Tennessee Vol tried to say, all right, hey guys, like, Lane's going to come up here and talk for a minute. And then everyone kind of chimed in and it was kind of like a little crazy that way. Finally, Lane steps up there and he goes, guys, great opportunity for me and my family to go to USC. It's always been the dream job. And then a few players stood up and basically just said F you to Lane, like right then and there in front of the entire team and the whole thing. So it was really awkward to say the least. And listen, we're at the time, we were young men. So you can understand why people feel the way that they do when they've been sold a certain dream. And now that person that sold you the dream is leaving. So it was wild for sure. And Lane really couldn't finish his goodbye speech. He basically was just like, I'll be in my office. Anybody wants to say goodbye or whatever, let's talk. Other than that, man, good luck and go Vols. And that's when everyone was like, oh, F you. It just went crazy. So it was wild. It was definitely something out of a movie for sure.
And then he gets left on the tarmac 3 years later, which is the irony.
Oh man, it was wild though for sure. And now regarding to the situation with him in Auburn, I mean, dude's getting paid $7.5 million from Ole Miss. So what's Auburn going to bring to the table? And I've heard too that Ole Miss wants to restructure it again to make it even more attractive for him. I don't know what your guys' opinion of that, but.
Well, what I want to ask, Matt, is like you knowing all that and like laying out the monstrosity that he basically dropped on Tennessee and the way that he handled it. Like, do you think that he's going to leave for this Auburn job? He seems like somebody who's quick to relocate.
Or go
ahead, Blake.
Do you think it'll be cleaner because he had that experience? To add to that, do you think that it would be cleaner if he were to exit, do you think he'll be no now because he went through the Tennessee stuff?
I think that's a great thought, right, Blake? I mean, you would like to think that now that he's had that experience, it definitely would be a cleaner exit if he were to leave for Auburn. You know, the one thing that was unfortunate, I think, at that time period is that, like, the team found out about it on ESPN before he was able to speak his piece, you know, and that was the unfortunate thing of just, you know, the time frame that we live in now, you know, with everything being so out in front, right? So I think if this was a thing that he does decide to do, it would be something where he decides it privately in a small group setting and then tells the team, and then it's publicly announced, you know, the proper way, for it to be a cleaner thing. The awkward thing is that it's the same division. That's what's awkward. And that you're going to play against them every year. You know, that's what's weird as hell to me. So I don't know how it goes. But yeah, Lane has had a career, though, too, where he doesn't really seem to stay in one spot for very long, even if that one spot seems to be a great spot to be in.
I think the only reason he leaves is, and as crazy as this sounds, Lane, if you've covered the SEC like I've done for the last 7 years, he has made it very well known that Ole Miss and their boosters will not pay for NIL, and he's getting out recruited. Last week, Auburn let it be known that they donated or have donations of $13 million in the NIL collective. And I think and Lane said last week, like, look, guys, I don't care that we're close to beating Alabama. I want to win a national title.
Right.
So, Matt, if there is a reason why I think he would leave, I think Lane's made so much money now. Like, I think he's to the point where he really does want him a national title. I don't know, and I just don't know if you can get that at Ole Miss versus Auburn. That would be my only question.
You say Auburn's an easier path to being a national championship.
I don't know if it's an easier path because look, in-state recruiting against Nick is really difficult, but I do think that he's able to get better talent at Auburn because, look, LSU's plucking kids out of Mississippi, whether he likes it or not. Okay, if they want the number one receiver in Mississippi, they're going to get him.
Right.
Lane doesn't have the booster base that I think Auburn would supply him with to say, hey, I want to go out to California and get a 5-star quarterback. Let's go give him an NIL deal. Ole Miss isn't doing that.
Right.
And so that would be my only question. Or like for them.
I mean, I think it's a great point, and I think that's something too that maybe under the circumstances of the situation, maybe Ole Miss is kind of thinking about, all right, like maybe we do have to change our ways. Now, that's a tough thing to say too, just because we know sometimes how these SEC schools are kind of stuck in their ways because it's worked for them for so long. But that is going to be a question. And also too, you know, the NILs, I know they're important, but I mean, hey, Texas A&M, they threw a lot of NIL money out there too, and I see them right now as 1-6 in the conference. So it's not
so great.
It's just like it's not necessarily the end all be all to being, you know, to getting those dubs in that win column, right? So, you know, it's like Texas A&M is also showing you that you could throw you know, a lot of money into that angle. But at the end of the day, if the product on the field isn't getting you wins, what does it matter? You know, you're just, you know, helping kids have a better life, you know, at the end of the day. So it's very curious. Auburn's new facility, though, whoa, dude, that thing is, I don't even, like, it's from another planet how cool that thing is. You could spend your entire week in there and not get bored, you know?
Well,
it's
like,
ridiculous.
I saw a thing where they had this little control place or like a little thing that spins, like you get in it, it spins around. It tells you how much body fat you have. Now, first off, my fat ass isn't getting in it, you know.
It's a bod pod. That's not like that fancy, you know, but it is cool that they got that, you know. Yeah.
I don't know another SEC team that's got a bod pod, you know, like.
Yeah.
Anyway, Joe, you got one more from Matt over here?
Yeah, I want to just ask, Matt, you do the college football recruiting show with me, and we had the opportunity to evaluate some really talented quarterbacks at the very beginning of the cycle, and that was the first show that we did, and that might have been one of the more fun ones to do, getting to hear your thoughts on these quarterbacks.
Right.
I think everyone's spending so much time talking about Arch Manning and Malachi Nelson, but being a former Vol and knowing Nico Iamaleava, I think I pronounced that right this time, which I did not do on the show when we did that episode. But just like knowing Nico and the situation he's stepping into, do you think that like he could maybe be better than what Hendon Hooker has been? Do you think that like he has a really high ceiling to be as talented as some people expect?
Well, I think the great thing for Nico is that now the system is in place. Hendon Hooker was the guy that was a part of the rebuild. And typically what happens in the rebuild is that you're making chicken salad out of someone else's chicken doo-doo, and they did that, and they changed the culture, in that short period of time. So now Nico is going to reap the benefits of, having that attractiveness for the next few generations of recruits to say, yeah, we want to go to Tennessee because we see what it's like. We saw that Tennessee-Alabama game, and we're going to be there for that. We want to beat Alabama, smoke those cigars with Peyton Manning, and ball out, And that's where I think him going forward, that gives him a tremendous ability to potentially have a great, fantastic career at Tennessee just because of the momentum they're slowly building. It's like you saw with Alabama. Alabama's best football teams, it's like it started with Greg McElroy at quarterback, and then like each and every year, every position and the quarterbacks gradually got better and better and better. Now, did the quarterbacks actually get that much better? We don't know, but the team got that much better. And when you have a great football team around you, you can see that great quarterbacks can look really, really awesome and even better than what maybe people perceive them to be, no matter who you think you are, So that's what's a cool situation about it.
It's crazy. Saban will go 0-4 in national title runs with Tua, like as complete starters, not coming in at halftime.
Right.
0-4 in national title runs with Bryce Young and Tua. That's insane to me. It's insane.
Two best quarterbacks.
Well, it is, but I'm going to tell you, y'all going to rip me alive on this. I'm going to tell you this right now. They're better suited for a Mac Jones for what Saban wants to do.
Yeah.
He still at heart wants to run the football, dude. Run the football, play action, over the top. That's been Saban's MO since he was at LSU. I'm just going to throw that out there. Don't watch Jalen Milroe too. Watch. I'm just telling you.
Listen, it's definitely a trend that I think will gain more and more, trending capacity as the years go along, because we've been so pass heavy and pass aggressive, these past 5 or 6 years. Eventually, one of these schools, and you make a great point, Alabama would probably be the first to dive back into the pool of like, all right, can you stop old school power, with the great running backs that we've had? The reason why a lot of coaches get out of that offense is because it's really hard to teach and it's really hard to execute routinely over and over and over again. This spread it out kind of stuff and just throw bubble screens and throw goes. That's easy because you're just thinking, man, it's one-on-one, throw that damn thing, so eventually, I think there will be a time where one of these teams will go back to a little bit more of an old school mentality and try to shorten the game, control the tempo of the game, and physically beat down teams. The problem is, though, is that Alabama defensively hasn't been what they've been, of late, where there've been a little bit more of just like kind of that lockdown defense where that really kind of made their claim and their name.
All right, Matt Sims, the best number 12 and 2, correct?
That's correct. I was 12 and 2. I gave 12. That was a shout out to my pops, because he wore 12 in college.
Yeah.
And then the deuce, that's just like a family number with my brother and I, for sure.
Rocky Top will always be home sweet home to me.
No doubt. No doubt.
All right, buddy. We'll see you soon. Thank you
Thanks so much,
Matt.
Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate you having me. Thank you.
That's former Tennessee quarterback Matthew Sims. Fantastic. Dude's great, man.
Yeah, I love working with Matt, and I'm going to text him right now to say thank you, but that got a lot of really good stuff.
For like a whole hour of like QB talk, dude.
Yeah. Dude, absolutely. It's fun doing that recruiting show with him because he's just got so much knowledge.
Oh, dude, and we didn't even get to Florida. Like we wanted to get to some Florida recruiting too. Yeah. I mean, they're kicking it off too.
We'll get him on. We'll get him on again to talk a little bit more about it.
All right, awesome. But we got to go to. I can't say. Do you want to say it? I can't say
Cockvember.
Cockvember. I can't do it. But we're gonna do it with the Bostonian Smart Pack. Mike Yuva is gonna join us next out there in South Carolina. But so you got our good friends over at Gramco, thegramco.com. We return in 45 seconds with your favorite South Carolina and Boston dude, Mike Yuva. Guys, I've got to talk to you about our good friends over at Gramco. They are the Delta 8 company based out of the state of Florida. They're founded by college football junkies just like you and I am not sure if you're familiar with Delta 8, but you need to be. Gramco is the absolute leader in this field, and they have phenomenal products that I just need to tell you about. First off is the Wake and Bake coffee that is absolutely spectacular. The gummies are as well, as they're the best in the market. So go to thegramco.com right now and use the promo code AYS25. That's thegramco.com, AYS25 promo code to get 25% off of your order. Jump on this fast, as it is perfect for holidays, anniversaries, and everyday use. Gramco is hemp-derived and completely legal inside of the state of Louisiana. No medical card is needed, and shipping is very discreet. You must be 21 years older to order. Again, that's thegramco.com. Use that promo code AYS25. All right, we're joined by our good buddy, Mike Yuva, out there in South Carolina, covering the Gamecocks, but it looks like you're back in Bostonia.
We are. We got to cover the Patriots tomorrow, so we have
clam chowder. You got some clam chowder on the pod ready to go?
I need some, man. It's soup season for sure up here. It's friggin' 30-something degrees out there. Went to some high school semifinal action. Actually, my dad just happened to be his team playing last night. They're heading back. They call it the Super Bowl up here. D1's the highest. All you freaking other people across the world, right? Doing D5 as the highest, D6. You guys are a bunch of friggin' schmucks, all right? I'm not that smart to be able to figure out what is which when I'm outside of the state. So, yeah, that is something that it's weird, though, when you think about it. You call it D1 for college football, right? The highest D1. I don't understand why high schools need to reinvent the wheel. So that's what grinds my gear on this.
Because there's some kids in high school that can't grow above 5. This is how the brain works. Mike. I mean, especially here. I'm not gonna say it. All right, Mike Yuva joining us. Mike, big game today. Tennessee, South Carolina. I got to ask you this first question though. I can't get behind this Cockvember. Am I the only person or is South Carolina fans is this just a big thing? Cocktober and Cockvember?
Cocktober's over. That ended in 2018 when Jackie Bradley Jr. and Steve Pierce helped the Red Sox win the World Series and became the very first 2 players to go ALCS MVP and World Series MVP from the same college in the same year. That's never happened before in the 100-plus year history of Major League Baseball. Now, those awards have not been around as long, but that's not the point. But, look, it's cute. People want to make T-shirts, do this and that. It's fine. I mean, there's really not a lot to be happy about these last couple weeks. I know they had the win against Vanderbilt, but look, I think bottom line is if this is going to be called Cockvember, whatever the hell you're calling it, it's probably going to be one that people are going to want to forget because, the way it's looking right now, South Carolina could end the year on a 3-game losing streak. I know they lost last week, so they're on 1. But obviously a very difficult task with Tennessee coming into town today and then Clemson to close out the year.
Let me say this. I do feel it's going to be a little closer than some experts think, but then something just tells me, Mike, don't get your hopes up behind that. Tennessee's a really, really, really good football team.
Yeah. Look, these last couple weeks, you could have at least, done what I call mental pretzels or mental gymnastics to be able to convince yourself why it should be a game. This one, I can't. I do think they'll cover, even without having Marshawn Lloyd out there. They're starting running back, and then their number 2 running back, Christian Beal-Smith, which has really been an issue for this team. We talk about identity. It's such a cliche phrase that people like tossing around in sports, especially when you're talking about, a team that has struggled to find any type of identity from a passing standpoint. And you've also heard the offensive coordinator who deservingly so has took a lot of scrutiny this season. But I bring all that up because he has even said, the OC Marcus Satterfield, that they need to be able to run the football. And this is maybe a month ago, back during Cocktober. I say all that because I don't know what they're going to be able to do from a running standpoint. They've had Jaheim Bell, the tight end, play running back the last couple weeks. What does that tell you, though, in terms of the confidence level? I know the fans are upset. Okay, why aren't they using this guy? Why aren't they using that guy? They just feel better with him out there. And I think that it just also goes to show just how they've really struggled to find any type of identity without Marshawn, because Marshawn has just been phenomenal this year. great story. Tore his ACL a couple days in 2 years ago during his freshman season. Struggled to really get past the mental hurdles more than anything his sophomore year. Then he's been one of the better running backs this season, at least statistically. So not having him today, you're trying to find any type of, okay, is there a possibility? Is this or that? And I could be dead wrong. It'd be great for me to be dead wrong. But I just can't see it, especially without having Lloyd. Even if Lloyd was in there, I think there's still too much power that Tennessee has to be able to keep up with them.
I'm a big fan of Jaheim Bell, actually, and I will say that that's a smart decision. And I didn't even know that they were using him as a running back, because he is that H-back flex type guy. And when I did my draft evaluation on him, I was trying to figure out is he a tight end? Is he a fullback? But that's interesting that that's how they're using him. But one thing I just want to ask you, and I remember we talked about it when we had you on early on in the season, about like expectations for Rattler and Stogner in that offense. They haven't really lived up to it. And it sounds like, would you say that the main reason why they're not having success stems from that inability to set up the pass with the run? Or do you think there's maybe some deeper issues with that offensive grouping?
I think that the issues start with just the inability to really capitalize on the talent that they have. One thing that I've noticed, and we may have mentioned this on your show, I've said it on other shows, for people that don't know who the heck I am from a bucket of paint. I'm covering both South Carolina and the Patriots this fall. I'm double dipping. Got a unique opportunity at the very last minute right before college football season, so I'm still doing both. But I say all that because, and you guys get this, I'm sure there's people that follow the Saints down there, in particular, they're LSU fans. The difference between criticizing a college team versus criticizing a pro team, right? It seems like it's more so when it comes to college, it's more so directed at the coaches rather than the players. I still think you hold players accountable. Obviously, it's not going to be the exact same way that you would criticize a player like you would from an NFL standpoint. I bring all that up because when I say that, I really want to explain that when I'm saying what the issues are with South Carolina, a lot of it does have to do with the play calling. And that's not just college talk, right? So that's how I decipher it, right? It's the truth. I think when you look at the last 2 years with this offense, they've just really struggled to really click. And it goes back on the offensive coordinator. I mean, it really does. And the best way to describe it is I feel like Satterfield is kind of like that person that you're dating who, when you get into that relationship, they bring a lot of good to the table. You see a lot of good in them. But over time, you realize, like, you know what? It's not that they don't know what they're doing, or it's not, it's not like they're not bringing a lot to the table. It's just not what we're looking for right now. And I feel like that's kind of where South Carolina has hit a wall with their offense, is that they have talent that's not being utilized, and that falls back on the offensive coordinator. You got to find ways to capitalize on, like you mentioned, a guy like Bell, a guy like Josh Vann, a guy like Juice Wells, who's done an incredible job since making the move up from James Madison. They have talent. No one's saying that they have the talent to be able to compete for an SEC East title, but they have way too much talent on offense for them not to be doing more. And
6 points is bad last
week.
I
think it not to keep on rambling, but the person that I haven't mentioned, Spencer Rattler, it's not like he's off the hook completely. But when you're struggling to be able to figure out, number one, like I said, the identity, which I hate friggin' people using that phrase. It's such a clutch word you lean on. But
agreed.
Between that, and then just the inability to find any type of rhythm on offense of knowing, okay, who's our guy? What are we going to do? It's really struggled. This offense has really struggled this year. And I think, with Rattler, is he the greatest thing since sliced bread? No. But I don't think he's as bad as what we're seeing right now, because we've seen him do some special things. It's just that as a whole, this offense is just an absolute mess. That's why it doesn't matter. Everybody, throw this quarterback. I don't care if you throw freaking Connor Sean. I don't think it's going to make a difference right now.
Yeah, Joe, I don't know how you feel about this. Look, I don't – the stat line for Spencer Rattler is always really interesting to me, like at the end of the game, like the box score. Like, I think he's got 8 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, right? But the crazy thing is he's still 67% completion percentage guy. He's still at 8 yards per – he's still at 8 yards per carry. But, like, I popped in the film from last week, and I went and looked up PFF's drop rankings for receivers. South Carolina's up there, and he's not getting a lot of help, right? Like they almost lead the country in drops. Okay, and so I'm not saying Spencer Rattler, to your point, is great by any means, because I think he's not played great at all. At the same time, he has not gotten hardly any help around him with all those drops that are surrounding him too.
Yeah,
John, I see you're shaking your head.
No, I'm agreeing with you. It's. I mean, he's bad, but then you couple that with what you're talking about.
Right.
That's what leads to 6 points.
Well, like last week, for an example, I like watching the game, and Mike, you can speak on this. Like they're going down, they're driving, they're running the football a little bit effectively, and then he throws a quick slant, dropped. He throws an out route, dropped. I mean, you can't have those stupid little things, because that's what piles on, and then Spencer gets in his head and just tries to force things he shouldn't.
Yeah, I mean, and look, I'm not going to sit here and say, okay, you take this away, take that away. But yeah, I believe, I know at least 2 of them, I believe 3, but I know 2 in particular from the South Carolina State game literally hit receivers right in the hand. I don't want to say the receiver's name.
Right.
Xavier Legette. He bounced back a couple weeks later, had a nice 100-yard kickoff return against A&M. But he had 2 drops that game, and they led to interception. So I say all that because I don't want to say his stats are misleading. I think that category for sure. When you talk about some of the interceptions, but he's also made some bonehead decisions.
Right. Agree.
Which he'd be the first to tell you. You think back, and I know it's a while ago, but you think back to the beginning of the season. I think it was against Georgia. There was like a wheel route, and he just threw it up. It kind of looked like Brett Favre going, opposite sideline trying to throw it across the field.
Oakland Raiders dad passed away game. Remember, he was throwing like quadruple coverage.
Yeah,
he didn't give a shit that game.
And I do feel like the crazy part about it, the offensive line has got better as the season's gone on. They've had some crappy performances over the last couple of weeks, but they got better for a period of time where you were able to at least get him in a position to be able to make some plays. I think the thing with Rattler that I've noticed more than anything is he looks more comfortable when he's working outside of the pocket when it's designed compared to, and I guess, it's like no shit, Mike, but when he's being flushed out, when it's designed, and that's where it goes back with the run game, being able to get the run going, play action, boot, RPOs, all that stuff that people love to be able to mention. When you get that going for him, it really changes his ability to get the ball moving down the field. So again, today against Tennessee, of course, the Vols have one of the better rush defenses in the country without your top 2 running backs. And we'll see. Does Jaheim Bell start at running back? Possibility. If he doesn't, you have Juju McDowell, which is a shifty back. He's not really someone that you can, give the ball to 20 times between the tackles. He's just not big enough to do that. A lot of fun to watch, though, when he's out in space. And then you got some other guys that really haven't had as many carries. It's interesting. Lavassier Carroll transferred back in from Georgia, played defensive back. He's a running back, though. Really haven't seen him at all at running back. Rashad Amos is another running back. So I bring up these names because without running the football, even though Tennessee has one of the worst pass defenses in the country, I think they're 7th worst in the country.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I don't care what you are. It's kind of like little Johnny playing youth basketball. If he can only dribble with his right hand, if he's a one-trick pony, it becomes really easy to defend him. So with South Carolina, right, if you know they're going to just drop back, pass, even with one of the worst pass defenses in the country, it becomes easy.
All right, Mike, last one. Final score prediction, Tennessee, South Carolina?
I went 38-20 Tennessee. I think the Gamecocks will find a way to cover. I know some people might be like, all right, well.
No, I'm right there with you, Mike. I'm right there with you.
20 points is a low total, too, to give up if you're Tennessee.
And I think and some people are going to say, oh, that's a lot of points for South Carolina to score. What are they going to get? A special teams touchdown, defensive
They
touchdown?
could. They might.
I do think, and I mean, it's really like, like you're watching the movie The Waterboy, even though it's not the last game. Last game, what do you got to lose? Like, really, what do you have to lose today? Go out there. I'm sure there's going to be some trick plays. I'm not saying that Tennessee's not going to be ready for it, but yeah, I think if they can just make this a game close early on, if not, I mean, this could be a track meet. It could get ugly fast.
If South Carolina wins, clam chowder on me for the entire bar. That's all I'm going to say.
Man, I have that now. I need, send me up some collards or, some pickled okra. I'm missing my Southern food, some brisket.
Oh, I'll send you some crawfish and deep fried chicken, baby. I mean, let's go all out here.
I don't know how that's going to last being shipped. That may be a little
You
soggy.
can freeze crawfish. You can freeze
okay.
crawfish.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't tip, brother. All right, Mike Yuva, my buddy. Thank you, bud. We'll talk really soon. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Mike.
Awesome. Appreciate you guys.
All right, that's Mike Yuva joining us. Bound chicka wow. Try to get drunk. Time to get blasted. You need a beer or this drink from Jenna after your horrible take this morning.
It's also a more appropriate time for me to start drinking because
it's 11 o'clock for you, right?
Oh yeah, it was so nice. I like not waking up at the crack of dawn and trying to get myself mentally prepared. But ironically, I was the least mentally prepared out of any episode. By the way, that I got worked at the beginning of this episode, this show.
I don't know how to put this. I've been preparing since you sent this last night. Like I've been.
Did you actually? Do you?
No, not. I can be honest.
Yeah.
I've had this argument all week. It's just that at this point, it's routine. I feel like I just let all of my anger out on you, and I should probably apologize.
No, trust me. I brought it upon myself. I think that was certainly justified. I still don't move off of my take, but you definitely kicked my ass. That's all.
All right, let's get to our good friend Jenna Drinks. Jenna Drinks joins us next. Let's talk about our good friends one more time over at betonline.ag and our good friends over at GM Varno & Sons down here in Louisiana. GMVarnoandsons.com. We return in 1 minute and 30 seconds. Time to get wasted. Is it white girl wasted? Can we say white girl wasted on here?
Jenna might get mad at that.
All right, we'll ask her. Next. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way for you to wager on all of your favorite sports, contests, events with the first-to-market odds and lines. Find reviews for all the news for each league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, college sports, esports, and even golf. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all of your sports information for live in-game betting, props, and futures. Head on over to BetOnline today and use your mobile device to join and make your first sports bet. Use our promo code Bleav50, that's Bleav50, BLEAV 50, to receive your 50% off welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's betonline.ag, betonline.ag. With over 65 years of experience, nobody is better equipped to service in your vehicle than GM Varno & Sons. RV repair, big rig overhauls, motorhome chassis, routine maintenance, tire rotations, tire sales. No job is too big or too small over at GM. If you break down the side of the road in the greater Baton Rouge area, they will come and get you. And the best thing about that is that they can come and get you, and then they can bring your vehicle back to their shop and start the repairs right then. Again, GM Varno & Sons. Go see them over at 2500 Fuller Boulevard. Give them a call at 225-664-9992. 225-664-9992. Tell them your good friend Blake Ruffino sent you on by. She's back. I've saved that for you all day. I've had like 4 opportunities to play that, and I've saved it all. I've saved it for you because you weren't with us last week, but you join us here again. How are you?
I am good. I appreciate the welcome back. What a comeback, man, and what a way to even make me feel more awake than the 2 cups of coffee I've already had this morning.
Okay, well, so listen, I see that you have a poster behind you, or it looks like a poster.
Yes.
But my mother's gonna be really excited that we have to watch that movie every single Christmas, White Christmas. So I dig the poster here.
Blake, are you familiar with my take my take on Christmas movies? Have we discussed this before?
Are you going to become a curmudgeon right now, Joe?
Oh, I hate Christmas movies. They're all terrible. I refuse to watch them. I refuse to watch them. I like the holidays. I like Christmas. I hate Christmas movies. That's
okay. Is Die Hard a Christmas movie? Yes.
No, it's not. It's not a Christmas movie. It is a movie that happens during Christmas. This was, by the way, I stand by this take so much. This was in my Hinge profile. And it started a conversation between me and my girlfriend. So it helped. My distaste for Christmas movies helped me.
Okay, let me ask you this. Why do you like the Tim Allen Santa Claus movies?
They're okay, but like I wouldn't go out of my way to watch one is my point. because none
Joe,
of them
did
are
you
any-
like
just
not
wake up
get
every
presents
morning.
as a child? Like, I'm just
No, I
trying
got
to
plenty.
understand where this stems from.
Again, it's not a distaste for Christmas. I don't like bad movies, and they're all bad. There's not a single good quality
The
Christmas
first
movie that's
Santa Claus
entertaining.
movie was good. Stop.
I even thought the second one was good. First off, It's a Wonderful Life. Come on.
No,
Have you get? Oh my
no,
God.
no. I'm
I
out.
will give I will give Joe this. The Hallmark Christmas movies make me want to puke.
Well, and that's
Oh,
the
yeah.
new theme now of movies because everyone wants to watch them, and because there's such a demand for them, apparently nothing is better than really shitty quality rom-com Christmas movies.
Yeah, I'm with you there, Joe. I don't,
Eh.
I don't. All right, but I do like White Christmas. White Christmas is really good.
Yeah, it's become a tradition in my family where there's a theater in Chicago called the Music Box, and we'll go and watch it live every year. And you get to bring, things, but you can't really say you're bringing alcohol. And it's so funny to hear the audience like react to how much everyone hates Rosemary Clooney and just like all of the like hissing. And it's so obnoxious, but it's become this like really fun, cheeky tradition. And now we are like bringing it on to my great grandkids now. So we're like teaching them about White Christmas. So it's become a pretty cool thing, I'll say.
Well, the only thing that we know in the South is a White Christmas is if you go and buy something from the local corner man. I mean, because there's going to be no snow around here. I promise you that. But when it gets cold, chilly, hunting, we're down. But White Christmases, we haven't seen any. All right. Jenna Donaldson joining us. What we got this week? Just tell us, and then we'll get to you making it.
Yeah, so we're gonna make a blood orange spritz, which is kind of in
yeah,
honor
we
of our
are.
buddy Mr. Joe DeLeon and his Italian roots. But
Excuse me,
Blake's not really
Sorry.
Italian.
buddy.
I'm just
Buddy.
kidding. I'm kidding.
You're whiter than that damn poster that Jenna's got up there.
I'm kidding.
You're so white. Your credit score at birth was 800. You look like an accountant. Don't you dare. First off, hold on.
Here he goes.
Well, go ahead. I deserve it. Go ahead. Go ahead.
There's 3 proteins that go in a
Yes.
thing of spaghetti. Name the 3.
The 3 things that go in a
What
thing
are
of
3
spaghetti.
acceptable proteins that can go in a spaghetti?
I don't know why
If it takes you this long,
wait, I'm drawing a
give me your
blank.
Italian card.
Meatball
I
is
wasn't
one.
saying I was saying that Jenna doesn't think you're Italian. That was the reason why I said that, because she clearly doesn't think you're Italian.
76.8%. Thank you very much. AskAncestry.com.
I was gonna say which one did you go to figure out that stat?
I went through my parents. Listen, okay, Italian sausage,
Yes.
meatballs,
Yep.
a protein that you wouldn't think of, boiled eggs. Okay.
Boiled eggs.
Yes.
Is that a Southern thing?
When Italians came over on the boat, okay, they were so poor, they wanted spaghetti and have something like a meatball that was in it, but eggs was really cheap. Meatballs and meat and protein was extremely expensive. So when they were growing up, they would boil eggs and put it inside their spaghetti because they were so poor.
I'm not Italian. I didn't know that.
Yeah. It actually originated in the New York, New Jersey area, but you had to get somebody from Louisiana to tell your own thing. Since you're in Soprano country, mister, since you're in Soprano country, I want you to do this for me.
Okay.
In season 2, somebody got shot at the end. I forget.
I haven't finished The Sopranos. I've only seen the first
Okay, but
season.
you've gone through season 2. Okay, listen, Jimmy. In season 2, there's 7 episodes. They have one red wine. Do you know what the name on that wine is?
No.
I can take a guess.
What is it, Jenna?
I'm thinking it's a Chianti.
No, I don't
Barolo?
know. Maybe I don't know what Chianti means. I can't even say it nor spell it.
Bordeaux? Was it Bordeaux?
A Barolo?
It has this name right here on the.
Oh,
on
it's
the
a
wine.
Ruffino.
It's a Ruffino. Look at
Okay.
you.
We're on the Sopranos more than the De Leons, okay? And you lived a block away from it.
I
Thank
think
you very
I
much.
think I triggered you more with calling you not Italian. I mean, I do the same thing. My friend. I mean, I'm less looking Italian, so it's easier for people to make
You're
that
actually,
argument.
believe it or not, a lot more Italian than people give you credit for.
I know
You're-
it's very
Yeah,
unfair.
yeah.
It's very unfair. I got my nose is big enough. It's the
It's called the Zazu.
yeah.
I feel attacked. Racist. Don't bring up our noses. All right, Jenna, let's get to it. But yes, I
Okay.
did get triggered. Let me ask you this, Jenna. I said this before the break. Is there such thing as white girl wasted? Like, is that appropriate?
I was going to bring this up.
Uh-huh.
I think if the shoe fits, it fits.
This drink
Have
does.
you
Call me
ever seen
Cinderella.
Have you ever seen Cat Williams stand up when he talks about the difference between black people and white people getting drunk?
I believe so.
Okay,
I
he says
don't
he goes
know.
Monday, Wednesday, Friday, my birthday, Jesus' birthday, Hennessy. That's what black people drink. What's the first thing a white person says when they go out? They say, tonight, we're getting fucked up. And that's the truth. So, again, if the shoe fits, and the shoe fits. So, that's the truth.
Oh God, this is a great way to enter the segment. We need that drop. We need that audio
God,
drop
it's
later.
so true. And you know what they're wearing? They're wearing really dirty jeans and cowboy boots, which, by the way, I'm as country as they come. Believe me,
Mhm.
I'm as country
I
as they
know.
come. That's not how cowboys dress. I promise you that. Not the real ones.
You
This
can
is-
tell-
Somebody tell Josh Fisher that, please.
Listen. That's a whole nother topic for another day. I worked on a dairy farm. You
Uh-huh.
don't wear that kind of stuff.
No.
Let me tell you something. You wear
Yes.
there's 3 things you wear on a farm. Number 1, comfortable pants. Number 2, comfortable boots. And whatever is going to be able to give you breeze up in your nether regions. Because if you don't, you're in deep trouble. Okay, look, you're on horses, you're around cattle. I mean,
Yeah,
shit ain't fun. It smells like horse shit. Literally. Smells
literally.
like horse shit 24/7. Okay. Come where I'm from. Way down yonder on the Chattahoochee. Jenna, we're just, we're
wasting
This is
Jenna's time.
this is what happens every time I come on, and I've accepted this.
Yeah.
All right, let's
but
go. Let's roll. Let's roll
get
here.
started. Okay, so I am a big fan of the traditional Aperol spritz, which just involves Aperol and then Prosecco and a little bit of club soda. You can always add an orange slice to be cute and cheeky, but again, it's not a requirement. I lately have been a really big fan of the San Pellegrino blood orange sodas, just drinking them at home. So that's kind of where this entire idea stemmed from. So you're going to make this in a wine glass, okay? And you're going to do 1.5 ounces. If you do not have a jigger, guys, all right, it's going to, I'm going to just put it up so you guys can see. You kind of want it to just sit in the bottom of your wine glass. If you do not have a wine glass, it's about 1 finger. Blake, shut your goddamn mouth.
I'm muted. I'm not saying anything.
Thank
I'm not-
God.
Meditated.
Hey, when you said
Oh,
jigger,
I just know. Jigger. This is a jigger.
when you said jigger, I was thinking of the rap song. Jig.
Okay. Then you're going to take your San Pellegrino. Okay, same thing. You're going to do 1.5 ounces. All right. It's not really going to change the color much, which is even better. Next, take your ice. Okay, put it on in. And then this is where it gets fun. So everyone should know how to properly open up a bottle of champagne, bottle of wine. I know movies say to like have it spray everywhere, but it's such a waste because you waste like half of
Yeah.
the bottle. So don't do it.
That's
So
what she said.
shut up. So on the bottle, there's going to be this little tab. Okay. You're going to just pull it around. All right. Take it off. The top of this, where the cork is, this is called the cage. Okay. On the cage, you're going to pull this little tab down and twist it. I believe it's 5 or 6 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. Okay. Put your thumb on top. Okay. And then put your 2 fingers in between the cage. Okay. Away from your face. People have died because of the cork hitting them in the face, guys. Okay. So
Really?
yes, this is a thing because of the pressure coming out. Now, when you take it out, you're actually going to twist from the bottom. Okay. So you're not twisting at the top. You're twisting from the base and you just want to hear a little hiss. Okay. So that's it. And then you see the
That was
smoke.
I'm not
so
gonna lie.
smooth.
That's the most impressive thing that you've done on the show.
Thank you.
That
Now,
was a little backhanded. that comment that Blake just made.
I believe this is what the Italians call a good F and a U. Now you're going to
No,
take.
I'm being serious.
I
I know.
know.
I know
I
it
know.
wasn't. I'm joking.
We're joshing.
No, it really wasn't. That shit's impressive because so many
Yes,
people.
Yeah.
Keep going, Jenna.
Anyways, you're going to
I'm
then
causing
fill
problems.
up about just like 2/3 of the way, ends up being around like 4 to 5 ounces. Okay. And then, ladies and gentlemen, your blood orange spritz is the most beautiful thing on the planet.
All right.
Cheers.
So here's the thing. Okay, cheers.
Yes.
All right, I'm not gonna lie. I kind of did it like in the first like 5 minutes because I saw your video.
That's
Anyway,
fine.
okay. So no, that's impressive because I really do mean that because if you think about it, at least where I'm from, so many people have issues. They're always like, this damn cork won't come out.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm serious. Like, and you were talking about go from the base, rotate it. Like I'd never heard that before. I was being dead honest.
No, I know you were. And
I
honestly,
was joking. I was just because the way you said it made it seem like nothing else.
No,
I know.
I'm as dead serious as LSU being above USC in the college football playoff.
Oh, all right.
But I really think, I worked in restaurants for 8.5 years and did like wine table service, and that's like there's a whole presentation of how you do it, and it's very proper, and it's downtown Chicago, so everyone's a little more hoity-toity, so you want to do it. And I believe me, I've opened, I can't even tell you how many bottles of Prosecco I've opened in my time working in that restaurant. I mean, I can do it now with my eyes closed.
I feel like it's an orange mimosa in a way.
It is.
Yeah.
It tastes like it. And what's nice about the Aperol is Aperol has this really nice kind of bitter flavor to it, whereas Prosecco tends to be really sweet. And then again, blood orange to me definitely has that like almost bitterness, like a grapefruit. But I just love this stuff.
Yeah, it's like an orange mimosa with a little bit more carbon, maybe not carbonation, but a little bit more
bubbles.
More bubbles. Yeah, that's a good way.
I'm usually not an Aperol guy though. That's
shocking to me.
I know, because you think that everyone in my family loves Aperol. Like it's the aperitif that it's supposed to be used for. You have an Aperol spritz early in the day. Yeah. And like all the my step siblings and stuff like that, they love drinking it. So does my dad, my brother's girlfriend, and I don't know why. I just don't like the bitterness of it. But like I think with the sweetness, you add that to it, it kind of takes away.
It's a balancing act. Yeah. And I think
like
whenever
bitter.
No, me either. And I think whenever you're making a drink, like this was the one thing that I always learned. It's like you want to have that combination of sweet and bitter so it is balanced, because you don't want something to be too bitter or too sweet, because then you look like taking a handful of Sour Patch Kids and you're just like, oh God, like what was that?
Right.
But again, I love this because it's so simple and it's 3 steps. It's 3 ingredients. You don't need a lot. And it's something that you can just like have the day for, and like, why not be fancy at your tailgate, guys? Do as the Italians do, right?
It feels like a very summer drink. We got next week. Can we just do like hot chocolate and Baileys? Can we do a Baileys drink actually?
Okay, so I was actually thinking about this because my house is completely decorated in Christmas already. I was thinking because it's cold, it's snowing by me, I wanted to do something with peppermint to give that little bit of a peppermint in a hot drink. So
I like that idea. Is there like a peppermint liqueur or something?
Peppermint schnapps. You can add peppermint schnapps. And again, with that, because peppermint schnapps is so strong, you don't need to add a lot. You just need a little, almost like a splash. And then we could even do a peppermint like Bailey's hot chocolate. We could do that.
Ooh.
Actually, have you ever had, I made one a while back. Maybe we'll do this one. It's a peppermint White Russian.
That sounds good too. Either of those. I'm excited for whatever it is, but it sounds like you were a step ahead of me. Like I'm
always thinking of like what it's gonna look like and
have you guys seen that a lot of daiquiri first off, do you know what a daiquiri shop is?
Yes.
I don't.
I've never been to one, but I'm familiar.
Basically, Jenna, in Louisiana, you have drive-through daiquiri shops. Okay, so you could.
I know what this is. My girlfriend one of my best friends has this down in Florida. Yeah, I've seen it.
Oh yeah, they have them down in Florida. So basically, it's just a drive-through. We can get as much alcohol as you want. So all of them around here took the word Russian out of all of their drinks. Like, because you got White Russian and stuff like that because of everything going on in the world. And so I was just sitting here thinking, like, we're going to do a White Russian segment. And my fan base will be like, hey, Blake, did you see they took it off the daiquiri shops? The Russian name's not on there no more.
So what do you call it?
I already see it. It's a big thing here. It's a massive thing here. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. I want one.
We could do a Black Russian, but again, you're still using Russian in the title. So
I don't care about the name. They're going to get over it. Daddy
Yeah.
wants one. That sounds fantastic. Well, say that again. What was it? Like a peppermint what now?
So I've done a peppermint White Russian and a pumpkin White Russian before.
Oh, I
Ooh,
want the
you just missed the
peppermint.
boat on the
No,
pumpkin.
we're
I know we
past-
just
we're-
missed the pumpkin.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
pumpkins
We
for
could
next
do
year.
peppermint.
Yeah,
And and here's my thing is if we do this, I want you guys to do the full presentation and setup where like you're gonna crush peppermints. So it's the along the rim and you do a little bit of white chocolate in there. Oh my god, it's so beautiful. I'll send you guys a picture after this. It's so great.
Oof.
Okay, I like it.
All right,
Jenna,
I think
what else
that's
is going
the
on
drink for next week.
as we close out this segment. What else we got going on here?
For me.
Yeah, hey, listen. Let me tell you this. Y'all found y'all a little bit of a quarterback in Chicago.
Okay.
Joe's gonna hate me on this, but I think
Joe
Justin
is prob-
Fields been doing pretty okay.
I don't disagree with that.
I was talking to our lovely CEO Braun about this because the Bears play the Falcons this week, and I was saying for the first time as a Bears fan, I actually since they were in the Super Bowl back in was it the 2006-2007 season, I feel like I see where the ship is going. I know it's the first time we're not like a one-legged duck swimming in a circle and everyone tells us we're going somewhere, but we're not. But this is the first time that I'm like, this year's not about necessarily like the win and loss, column. It's about like the moral victories and what we're learning from everything each week. And I feel like this is what we're seeing and we're learning and we're going to stumble. I'm okay with that. I'm totally fine with that. But it's exciting. But again, then you have to think of it too from maybe this is me being like slightly pessimistic, but like how many running quarterbacks legitimately last and have like a long-term future in the NFL. That's the only like little bit of the skeptic in my brain. And that's what I just can't figure out. And I'm okay not having it figured out yet.
The thing with Justin, though, I will say, and he's running way more than I thought he was going to run.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Because like to be real, out of any of those guys that run a 4.4 and are that athletic, he's inherently very much a pocket passer. Like he has those traits. Like he has the ability to sit in the pocket and make decisions there. I didn't think he was going to be running for 150 yards in multiple weeks. Like I had no expectation.
Well, not only that, Joe, he's running dudes over in the end zone at this point, right? Like
my God.
That's a big thing. He's got some confidence behind him, which is I think has been the biggest thing for him. And I'm going to tell you this. Chicago, if they get him some weapons outside of Mooney and Montgomery, like they could be a little bit of trouble. Now the offensive line's got to do a little bit better, but Justin's done really well. I really like what Justin's done.
Yeah.
And you know what's even better about us getting these weapons, which we know are going to happen, is the downfall of the Green Bay Packers as we are on the uprise.
Jenna, you do know how much I love you, correct? You do.
I do. Yeah.
Okay. I'm just going to tell you this. Don't ever count out Big Daddy Rogers. Don't do it.
No. Oh no, I don't. I know better. But
okay.
But
don't do it.
But
just don't do it. And then not only that.
Yeah.
Big Daddy Kirk with the chains, baby. Big Daddy Kirk's on the way.
Okay, that was the best thing on Twitter before Twitter dies was them saying, Kirk was the guy that was like, I'll have your daughter home by 10. And it was like, I'll get her home when I want to get her home. And I was crying.
He's a different man now.
He's a different man with the chains.
First off,
he's based.
Pause. I didn't realize Kirk Cousins was like has
cut up.
Sexy? Yeah, believe me. Blew my mind.
Every girl is losing their mind now. Over it.
She's like, sexy. I mean, I'm like, okay. Well,
the shoe fits, Blake, and the shoe fit for him. Okay.
True.
I'm just saying. Just saying.
Okay. Well, you got you a little bit of a quarterback. Let's see what you can do with him. See what you can do with him. How cold is it up there in Chicago?
Yesterday was 27 degrees. Today it's 26 degrees, and it's also our Illinois State.
Is it like wet though, like snow?
No. I mean, like it's snowing, but it's not
cold.
sticking. It's just cold. But I'm curious to see what happens tonight because it is the state football game, which is between two really big rivals, Mount Carmel and St. Rita. Mount Carmel is where Michael Vick went to high school.
Yeah,
so these two are like, and Pat O'Connell.
Pat Joe, left-handed quarterback.
Pat.
No, it's Pat. No, he plays for Tampa Bay right now. Pat
Gabbert.
No, Pat.
she
God,
said
oh my
Pat.
God.
Is it a quarterback?
I don't know.
No, he's a
I was thinking
lineman.
of
It doesn't
somebody
matter.
else.
But anyways, it's a big rivalry, and they've faced each other like 150
bug
something
me.
times. It's like super old school, and the Irish, Italian, Catholic heritage.
Hell
Like
yeah.
so it's gonna be
Don't
a
you
fun game.
dare
And
say hell yeah.
Oh, I'm Irish Italian. What are we talking about here, man?
no, but
Hell
it'll be
yeah.
broadcasted tonight too. So I'm excited to see it. But it's gonna be cold and wet and windy as shit. So it's gonna be an interesting game.
Illinois got some really big deer. I'm gonna go up there sometime and kill me a big Illinois deer.
Illinois deer.
Yeah, y'all got a lot of big hunters up there. Or is it just not really?
I mean, you got to realize I live in the city. Like, do they exist? Yeah. Do I know them? No.
Did you grow up with people who would like go around and hunt and stuff like that, or no?
The only time I ever was around someone who hunted was one of the guys I dated in college, and it was snowing, and he was like, "Hey, can you do me a favor? Can you like clean the window?" He was like helping someone move a car, and when I pulled out what I thought was the brush, it was a gun, and I was like, oh, "Okay, I'm just gonna use my hand because I can't find that." So that was the closest I've ever come to someone hunting. And as a city girl, like just not really in my wheelhouse of things I can do. So yeah.
Gotta get you to the south.
Mhm.
You need a weekend.
Listen, if you take me to like a full on hunting like excursion, I would do it. I'll do anything once, and see how it is. I've never shot a gun. I've never done anything like that. I have no idea.
Not
I
even
would
like
have not a
paintball?
clue.
Hey,
No, I've never done
tell y'all
paintballing.
something? My
Yeah.
wife hates like gamey meat, like gamey meats.
Yeah.
Sometimes she doesn't know when Daddy be cooking the gamey meat because it's so
No,
good.
Blade.
Oh, if you cook it right, it's so
Look,
good.
Chili Cook Off 2012, 2013, 2017, and 18. I mean, call me Bill Belichick. I mean, the greatest of all time. Just letting you know. It's the truth.
All right.
All right, Jenna. This is actually really good. It's like I did put some ice in it, like an idiot.
No, I said
You're
ice.
supposed
Yeah.
to put ice in it.
You're supposed to put ice in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's cubes. Yeah.
It's really it's sneaking up on me a little bit. Now
It
I
does
hadn't drank in 2 weeks outside of Miller Lite, but this is actually really good. I didn't know how to feel about this one.
And me teaching your son how to cheers, man, I'm causing a problem.
All right.
Oh, he
hold
was
on.
so
That was the
pissed earlier.
cutest thing.
Blake was so mad earlier when we brought that up.
No, I wasn't mad. I wasn't mad. All right, let's end it here. Let's end it with
Yes.
this. Did you see my YouTube comments?
No, I
Just wait.
didn't.
Okay. So I posted it, just not even really thinking about it. Like, didn't really care, just like,
It's
Well,
cute. It's
first
fun.
off-
Yeah.
first off, they were like, Blake, why does Ben sound so country and you don't? Because he goes, cheers.
He does. It's so
Cheers.
cute.
Okay, that's number one. Second off, it is the most Ben. Come here. It's the most country thing he says. Okay, we're about to do it again. Hold on.
Oh my
Y'all
God.
conversate. Come here.
Conversate.
Yeah, but he's not going to admit it. But he was Blake was upset that
So
they were getting. Go ahead.
he's
Go ahead.
learned because he watches the shows on his iPad. Okay, he's
Oh,
learned what this means. So when we go cheers,
yeah.
it's where he learns it from.
Yeah.
So when you talk about kids learning things, it really does. It broke my heart. Cheers. I need some more Sprite.
Where's the accent coming from, though?
I don't know.
It's kind of like, I wonder if it's.
We live out in the boonies a little bit, but he's not getting that from us. He's
I
getting
wonder if it's.
getting it from his cousins.
Oh,
Cousins.
I was gonna say it might have been like the case of him watching TV or something, because like I remember seeing somewhere that like an American family, their daughter had a British accent because they were watching Peppa Pig all day.
Oh,
and then,
yeah,
like,
that's
they
a thing.
Just developed
yeah.
one.
Yeah.
It's possible.
He apparently doesn't want to come on the show because he hears
It's okay.
he hears me on the iPad saying we're talking about him. So he wants
Oh,
to.
well,
It's
no,
really
I think
positive
it's
things.
Listen, Americans say cheers, Italians say salut, and the Irish say slancha, which my girlfriends call cilantro
Slancha.
and make fun of me. So
Well, and us Italians say, "Oh hell yeah!" All right, we're out of here, guys. We'll see y'all next week. Peace out, Girl Scouts.
bye, guys.